It ends here, Woodbine. It ends right here.
The name's Woodbine. Laszlo Woodbine. Just as I was being murdered, Rizla was doing an introductory voiceover.
My name is Rizla. Just Rizla. It's June 1960. It's a typical ordinary midnight. Nothing much is happening, except that Hugo Rune and I are being chased down the Brighton promenade by a killer Victorian robot, piloted by the most evil man who ever lived, Count Otto Black.
The Brightonomicon by Robert Rankin, adapted by Elliot Stein and Neil Gardner, and starring David Warner and Rupert Degas. Part 6, The Curious Case of the Woodingdean Chameleon, a Laszlo Woodbine thriller by P.P. Penrose.
Wait a minute! How the heck are you managing to go so fast?
Although I rarely perambulate at a pace that is greater than sedate as befits a man of my dignity, I am capable of prodigious speed when the need arises. So I'll see you on the pier. Pacey, pacey was right.
Oh, good Lord! He's shooting at us!
Just keep running, Whistler. We're nearly at the pier. Pacey, pacey, Whistler. You won't win a maiden's heart of oak by getting wood in a window box.
Great! If that doesn't inspire me to run faster, I can't think of anything that will. It's no good. I am knackered.
Get a move on!
But it's the end of the pier. There's nowhere left to run. We're doomed.
Over!
Over the rail?
Jump!
Jump! Jump! I can't jump! I can't swim!
Oh, that's right. You can't.
Backed yourself into a corner. What shall I do with you? Shoot you? Or camp you to the oblivion you so rightly deserve?
Or you could surrender, Otto. Surrender and I promise to spare your life. Don't make me drop this red gingham handkerchief.
What are you doing?
Have faith, young Whistler.
Have faith in a red gingham handkerchief?
Now, Otto! Climb down from your cockpit or I drop the handkerchief.
Rune, you are a fool.
I will count to 3.
You'll be dead before 2.
Mr. Rune grabbed me by the collar and hauled me over the rail. I remember the terrible fall, but the water seemed to be missing. Ow! Mr. Rune had flung me down into a moored longboat where I was caught by a contingent of Molescombe pirates.
Idiots! You were meant to catch me.
The galleon, the Saucy Spaniel, had been anchored off the pier's end. There was the awesome thunder of the cannons.
Look, they've destroyed the robot!
And again.
And they destroyed the ballroom.
And one more time.
And the penny arcade. Oh well, at least the Jelly Deal stand is still standing.
And yet another.
Yes, that wasn't predictable.
Captain, why didn't your men catch me?
Ah, well, you see, the thing is, well, we must have set the GPS slightly wrong after catching your friend there. You know, didn't make adjustments for weight. Software glitch. that sort of thing. Have some rum, to warm ye up.
Captain, I graciously accept the rum and thank you for your assistance in felling our foe. Now, Rizzler, kindly pass me my stout stick as... Gentlemen, regarding the correct placement of a longboat during a rescue...
Oh, dear.
Several weeks had passed since the incident with Count Otto and his Victorian robot. It was, if ever this term could be used around Rouen, back to normality at 49 Grand Parade.
Who is your favourite fictional detective?
No.
Even my incredible powers are unable to decipher what you just said through a mouthful of sausage. Swallow? Good. Try again.
My favourite detective? Well, I happen to be reading one of his books at the present. Here.
Dead Dames Don't Dance, a Laszlo Woodbine thriller.
Mm-hmm. Laszlo Woodbine, as written by Mr. P.P. Penrose.
Laszlo Woodburn.
Woodbine. Here, let me paint you a picture of him.
They call him Laz, the most stupendous American private eye, wearing his trademark trench coat and fedora, and carrying his trusty Smith & Wesson. Laszlo Woodbine is the dream of every dame and quite a few guys. Thrill as he works and solves daring mysteries in only 4 locations. His seedy office, where clients come to call. A bar, where he chews the fat with the one-eyed barman, Fangio. Picks up leads and inevitably runs into the dame that does him wrong. An alleyway, where he gets into sticky, death-defying situations. And the rooftop, where he has his final death-defying confrontation with the villain, who inevitably takes the big plunge to oblivion in the final chapter. Laszlo Woodbine is all this, and he does it all in the first person.
Sounds positively appalling.
No. With Woodbine, you can always expect a lot of gratuitous sex and violence, a trail of corpses, good old-fashioned name mispronunciation, and enough trenchcoat humour and ludicrous catchphrases to carry you through a month of rainy Thursdays.
Gratuitous sex? I may just have a read then.
So, why do you ask?
I have to take a little trip. I'll be away for a few days, and I'm leaving the practice in your capable hands.
We have a practice?
Let us take a look at the Brightonomicon now. Just pick one of the figures of the zodiac.
Anyone?
Other than those we have already done.
Naturally. Okay, that one, the one that looks like a banana with boils.
Ah, the Woodingdean Chameleon. A very bold choice. You feel up to the challenge? Can you solve this case?
There is no case. Just because I pick out a figure at random, that doesn't mean that there's a case to solve. That's not the way things work.
It's the way I do business. You chose, hence the case will come to you.
Nonsense. I could have chosen any figure on the zodiac.
But you didn't. Take this badge.
Oh, again with the badges.
I have my pigskin valise all ready to go, and all that remains is to bid you good luck with your case.
I really fancied trying my hand at a bit of the old crime detection. The Laz way. Back in the 50s, when a man had to do what a man had to do. There was a trench coat and a fedora hanging in the wardrobe of my bedroom. I tried them on and struck a pose beside the window and waited. Soon a client would obviously appear, and it would be a beautiful dame in a state of extreme distress, begging me to take on a case. After 10 hours of posing in the window, I got fed up with waiting and went to Fangio's bar, which today was called the Laughing Cadaver. Most appropriate.
Will Laszlo Woodbine order a bud and a pastrami sandwich? What perils await our heroic detective at Fangio's Laughing Cadaver? And what of the kidnapped Mitzi, the young heiress from a story that has nothing whatsoever to do with this one? And will Laz ever get to take tea with the parson, with a dame who done him wrong?
I took in the details of the bar. As Laz would describe it, the lounge was long and lost was the dream that was forever yesterday. The chrome shone like oil beads on a Chevy's tail fin, and the wise guy who stood behind the counter copped me a glance like he was whistling Dixie through the wrong end of a clarinet. I crossed the bar with more aplomb than a pagan pedal pusher at a chiropodist picnic, and acquainted my posterior with my favourite bar stool.
Howdy, partner, a bud and a hot pastrami on rye.
He did order a bud and a pastrami sandwich.
Howdy, partner. The victuals be awaiting on the ranch, y'all.
Can we dispense with the fake American accents, do you think, Fangio?
Fair enough. They weren't very good anyway, especially that narrator. A good evening to you, good sir.
It's morning.
Might be for you, but not me. I've become dyslexic.
You can't become a... Don't you mean dyslexic? You either are one or you're not.
Well, I guess I either are one.
Is Fangio dyslexic? Or is it just a speech impediment? Or is he slightly challenged?
OK, enough of your appalling grammar, annoying American voiceover man and this gay repartee.
Oh, that's easy for you to say, young Rizzler.
I'm not Rizzler. From now on, I'm to be known as Laszlo Woodbine, Private Eye.
Oh, so you're going out on your own? Has Mr. Roon given you your arching orders?
Arching orders? That's not dyslexic, Fange. That's a spoonerism.
Well, if you don't mind, I'll have to interrupt this toot we're talking because I want to switch on the TV. The croquet's on at Lourdes.
Don't you mean the cricket is on at Lord's?
No, I mean the croquet at Lourdes. The Benedictine Bears versus the Franciscan Foxes. Who really are foxes, if you know what I mean, and I'm sure that you do.
Oh, that's one of my catchphrases.
You should have mentioned that earlier.
Across America, starting at... I'm so glad...
Bringing you this exciting match. And as millions fill the bars and pubs anticipating what can only be described as the sports event of the century.
Indeed, yes, Michael. It is indeed so. And we're hearing that sports shops across the country are selling out of replica mini habits with nobody complaining about the ridiculous costs
I
involved.
hate to interrupt you, Dave, but it looks like the action is starting with the Benedictine Bears going first.
Now that's the man!
Who's the man?
Him! Father Ernetti! Father Pellegrino Maria Ernetti!
Oh, and it's through the hoop.
Father Ernetti, I know that name. That's the creator of the Chronovision.
You mean the TV that broadcasts past events?
Yes!
Never heard of it. That Father Ernetti is a one-man, lean, mean killing machine.
This is certainly proving to be one mighty battle, Dave.
Michael, I've never seen the like of it before. This match makes professional wrestling look refined. The monks and nuns are now going at one another, using every dirty ecumenical trick in the book.
Well, Dave, after all the bloodshed, the Latin swearing, the skill, the mayhem, I think we've just seen the greatest spectacle of all time between these two titans of croquet.
And Father Ernetti, the undisputed master of the game, is carried shoulder high around the pitch by the remainder of his teammates who've not been stretching off injured. The crowd are chanting their Hail Marys, and it looks like tomorrow's final will be an event no one in their right, or indeed left mind, will want to miss.
I have tickets to the final tomorrow. It's being held right here in Brighton up at the stadium.
Has Laszlo Woodbine stumbled across another terrifying conspiracy that will undermine the very fabric of society as well as the Roman Catholic Church's favorite croquet team? And what of the mysterious Father Ernetti? Is the Chronovision being kept at the sports stadium? And what of the mysterious hoof marks on the newly polished kitchen floor of the Wife's Legs Cafe in Brentford?
A truly terrible thought struck me, like a dendrophiliac's dongler at an auto-pederast's arboretum. What if the evil Count Otto Black knew that Father Ernetti was on his way to Brighton? What if the Count was planning to kidnap Father Ernetti and steal the Chronovision for his own evil aims? I had to get to the stadium and speak to Father Ernetti.
The Woodingdean Chameleon. The stadium is close to Woodingdean. Well, not terribly far from it. And chameleons are masters of camouflage, yeah? Count Otto Black will surely disguise or camouflage himself in order to capture Father Ernetti. I've only been a detective for a couple of hours and I damn near have this case solved. Fangio?
Yep.
You did say you had tickets for tomorrow, right?
Right.
Well, I'd like one of those tickets.
Well, you can't have one.
Uh-huh. I see. Right. Now about that ticket. Ticket buying the Hugo Rune way. Thanks, Fange.
So here I was, Laszlo Woodbine, Private Eye. I lounged against the wall of the alley behind the stadium, sporting my trench coat and fedora. I occasionally patted the bulge in my pocket, which was caused not by my trusty Smith & Wesson, which I didn't pack, but my Beanie Schweitzer air pistol. I lounged and patted and looked cool.
You! Piss off! You can't go lounging about these parts, laddie.
Official business, security. My pass? Act casual. Pretend you've not seen me. All right.
Well, I have seen you, and that's no a pass. It's a beer mat. Move along, you idiot.
Now, you're failing to grasp the subtle nuances of acting as if you haven't seen them.
If you didn't move, I'll call for security.
Aha, but I am security. Here, how about this pass instead?
That is an origami dog. Is that a spaniel? Hey, I'm away to fetch my knockery, and should I return to find you here, I'll set about you as my forefathers set about the Sasniks at Barrack Bung!
Look. Do you know anything about croquet?
Aye, it's pish.
Right, so not a fan then?
Oh, didn't get me wrong. It is a Scottish game after all.
Ugh. So, what time does the match start?
Start? It's almost finished, son.
Damn.
Aye. And I thought all the deafening cheers that were coming from the stands and the broken bodies of injured players being carried past and the reserves jogging by to replace them, crossing themselves as they did so would have been a clue for you.
So, who are the Benedictine Bears playing in the final game then?
Ugh, you really are an idiot. Glasgow Celts, of course. Right, I'm off to get my knockery.
Right. I'm sorry to have to do this, but I really do need to get somewhere really fast. Sorry.
You see that, Dave?
Yeah, I did. He just pistol-whipped that groundsman. What a liberty.
Once we've dropped off this here injured player, I suppose we'd better come back for the poor geezer, yeah?
Yeah, I suppose we had. After all, we are medics, and such is our allotted role in this story.
Excuse me. Tell me, is Father Annetti still on the pitch?
Father Annetti? He's responsible for this here injured geezer, what we is currently carrying.
Yeah, and a lot more besides.
Yeah.
He's a one-man croquet killing machine.
Now, can you just stand aside, please, sir? We have to get this bloke into the back of the mail van. Tell you what, Dave, there's a good few £1,000 worth here.
The final seconds were ticking away on the big digital clock that hadn't been invented yet. And there was the little twinkle. I did the old Laz double take. Delving into my trench coat, I took out Mr. Rune's brass telescope and spied upon the rooftop up above the scoreboard. There he was, a crouching figure clad in black and peering through a telescopic sight, which was mounted on a long rifle.
A sniper! And he's aiming right at Father Annetti. Damn! My air pistol won't hit him that far away. The end of the game and the players are all heading off to the dressing rooms. That should be it then. Although I must confess to being a little disappointed. Still, I can't simply stay in this alleyway. I must stop Count Otto somehow. I suspect an exciting rooftop confrontation may be about to ensue. It's time for action. But maybe a quick snifter to build up my courage first.
Barman! Which way to the scoreboard? Fangio, what are you doing behind the bar?
The barman in residence, Colonel Mortimer, had to pop upstairs on some pressing business. Bunged me 50 quid to fill in for him.
Which way did he go?
Oi! Stop talking to the barman, mister. We want serving here.
This is serious. This is a matter of life and death.
They always say that.
You what? Who do?
Vegetarians. The bane of my existence, they are. Always hovering around the meat counter in the shop when you're trying to buy your...
Listen, Fangio, just tell me which way Colonel Mortimer went.
Up the stairs to the roof.
I ran up the flight of stairs, although they won't actually get a mention here as though Woodbine doesn't do steps. Unless they're in alleyways, of course, like those retractable iron fire escapes in New York alleyways. A rooftop is a rooftop, said the greatest gumshoe of them all. But a dame with a handlebar moustache will never be Queen of the May. Pistol in hand, I eased open the rooftop door and peeped through the crack. And there he was, Colonel Mortimer, the best shot in the Carolinas. No doubt he was a henchman of the evil Count Otto Black. I crept over the rooftop. I heard the crowd go crazy. The players were back on the field. I saw the Colonel stiffen and take aim. I decided to shoot the blighter in the leg and be done with it. However, I wasn't done with it. I missed.
So, what do we have here?
You're under arrest. Don't do anything, such as shooting me. You're surrounded.
Really? And who might you be?
The name is Woodbine. Laszlo Woodbine.
Mr. Woodlouse. We meet again.
We do?
Oh, indeed. Well, surely you recall the shootout we had in your office in Death is a Rotund Redhead, a Laszlo Woodbine thriller. I was disguised as a Persian dwarf, and you as a demented chicken sodomizer. I escaped down the laundry chute, leaving you with egg on your face from the violated chicken and fluff on your gramophone needle.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Oh, well, perhaps I just made it up then. But it doesn't matter either way, because I'm going to kill you.
Look out behind you! Zulus! Thousands of them! A swarm of Zulus!
Oh, come now. No Zulus round these parts, dear boy.
Yeah, there are. There's a gaggle of them.
Well, surely you can come up with something better than that. Stop flapping your arms. You look a fool. You chose the wrong day to be a Woodbine.
What day should I have chosen, then?
Tuesday.
Let's talk about this. You really don't want to shoot me.
Oh, but I do. I really do. And then I'll shoot Mr. Grimsdale.
Grimsdale? Who's Grimsdale?
The referee. The swine who's been having it away with my wife.
Oh, that Grimsdale.
Well, obviously that Grimsdale. What other Grimsdale do you think I'd be lying on this rooftop trying to shoot?
The one in the Norman Wisdom movies?
Huh? Well, that's neither here nor there. No, he has to die, and so do you.
Well, no, don't. You see, I thought you were up here to shoot Father Anetti.
Who?
Father Anetti, the captain of the Benedictine Bears.
Oh, that Father Anetti.
But since you're only going to shoot the referee, that's none of my business, so I'll just leave you to get on with it.
I say, you're just going to leave me to...
Yeah. I mean, if he's been having sex with your wife, then he deserves it, quite frankly. Just go ahead. Got nothing to do with me.
Well, you promise not to have another go at me when I lie down to take aim.
I promise. I'll even lie down with you, if you want.
Oh, that's kind of you, but no, you don't have to do that. I'm planning to shoot myself afterwards. I shot my wife earlier, and after I kill Grimsdale, I'll do away with myself.
OK. Well, if you're sure, sorry to have interrupted you. No offence meant.
And none taken, I assure you.
And so I went on my way, leaving the Colonel at the stadium, and headed back to Rune's rooms at 49 Grand Parade. Well, sort of.
With a bit of quick thinking and no small degree of bravery, and with little thought for the danger to myself, I kicked his rifle aside. The shot missed Father Anetti, whom he'd sought to assassinate, being an evil catspaw of Count Otto Black, and no one was harmed. The struggle that followed on the rooftop was of the life and death persuasion, but I persevered, and he took the fall to oblivion.
I don't know what to say.
You can say that I am a damn fine detective.
I could. What a most creative liar.
Oh, come on. I solved the case of the Woodingdean Chameleon. At least give me credit for it.
Hmm.
Oh, All right then, it's all rubbish. I never kicked the rifle away from the Colonel. He slipped on a mound of pigeon droppings and fell from the roof. He didn't even manage to graze that, Mr. Grimsdale. I didn't solve the mystery at all.
Yes, you did.
I did?
Even though the Father Ernetti you sought so bravely to protect was not the same Father Ernetti who invented the chronovision, and the gunman was not aiming at Father Ernetti, nevertheless, you did solve the case.
I did?
A chum of mine, a Scottish groundsman, observed everything that happened and reported all of it to me. He saw you throw Colonel Mortimer into the stands whilst the Colonel was busy taking aim at Mr. Grimsdale.
That is what really happened, it's true. I couldn't stand by and let him shoot Mr. Grimsdale, could I? Norman Wisdom would have been most upset. Wait a minute. You knew he wasn't aiming at Father Ernetti. How did you know that?
Because I know Colonel Mortimer and his wife. And he did not really shoot her dead. He lied to you about that. She left him for another man. And that other man was not Mr. Grimsdale.
Who was it then?
It was Rune! The Logos of the Eons, the Guru's Guru, the perfect master, the lad himself, the mumbo gumshoe. It was me.
You? And the Colonel's wife?
We spent a few days away together in Eastbourne, and I'll probably see a lot more of her now that her husband is safely behind bars.
Mr. Rune, you are a cad.
I admit it. But you did solve the case of the Woodingdean Chameleon, as I knew you would.
But how if I got it all wrong?
Because the chameleon was you.
I was the chameleon?
That you were, a creature which disguises itself. Mr. Laszlo Woodbine, or should I call you Laszlo Woodingdean?
Oh, good grief.
Can this be the end of Laszlo Woodbine? And did you notice Rizla worked more than the standard 4 locations? Will there be another exciting, well-calculated plot twist next time? Or are we just making up this toot as we go along? You can only find out by tuning in to the next trenchcoat-wearing, fedora-festooned installment of Robert Rankin's The Brightonomicon.
In the curious case of the Woodingdean Chameleon, David Warner was Hugo Rune, Rupert Degas was Rizla, Andy Serkis was Count Otto Black, Michael Fenton-Stevens was the narrator, Mark Wing-Davey was Fangio, Martin Jarvis was Colonel Mortimer, Kerry Shale was Laszlo Woodbine and the American voiceover. Colin McFarlane was the American gangster, Stephen Cree was the Scottish groundsman, Sarah Douglas was the lady in the straw hat, Danny Eastman was the angry sports fan, Ben Onwukwe was Mike the croquet commentator, Johnny Dawkes was Dave the croquet commentator, Ian Lee was the first medic, Kate O'Sullivan was the second medic, and Elliot Stein was the monk. The announcer was Graham Rogers, almost out of breath. The Brightonomicon was adapted by Elliot Stein and Neil Gardner from Robert Rankin's original bestseller. The music was composed and performed by Jeremy Carroll, and the programme was edited, produced and directed by Neil Gardner. The Brightonomicon is a co-production of Ladbroke Radio and Hocus Bloke Productions.